What's up, YouTube? This is James coming back at you with another informative video. I hope everybody's doing well out there on this Saturday night. I'm doing really good myself. Had a very relaxing Shabbat today. And hey, I come across this story right here, and it's very offensive, all right? It's very demeaning, you know. And basically what it boils down to is when they actually murdered or took the physical life, the physical body of the Messiah, you know, the Hamashiach, the Christ of this world, okay? They cast lots for his clothing. That's what they did, okay? In this particular um, time, you know, in this paradigm in time now, where we are as a people, you know, Hebrew people, they are actually casting lots for our lives, okay? And that's what this whole particular article reminds me of. As you can see here, it says Fox News apologized for airing a graphic without full context that shows markets rising after black men, including George Floyd, were killed. All right? Yeah, the stock market, S&P 500 percentage shows 1 week after event. Now this is Martin Luther King assassination. As you can see, the stock rised to like 2.9%. Rodney King, here, case acquittal, 1.2%. Mike Brown death, same thing. These were, I guess they didn't go too far, but nevertheless, they put this shit in the stock market. And here's George Floyd's death. Look at that, 3.4%. You see? These bastards are actually profiting from the deaths, of black people here in this country. You see, and they always talk about violence is not the answer, but yet and still, when you look at all of these people right here that they got up here, all of them died by violence, okay? Every last one of them was unarmed. You see what I'm saying? And pretty much all of them died by the hands of the white man. Rodney King, hey, look, they killed that man in that street years before he died. They killed him then when they beat him, when they jumped him like that. There was a uproar, after his death and not after his death, but after the beating took place, you know what I mean? And the trial and the acquittal and all that kind of stuff. But nevertheless, I think then that's when we as a people in this country should have made our mark on this society, period. To make sure nothing like that ever happens again. Instead, we had it even rise even more, leading us up to this day with George Floyd's death, and what have you. But and also, when that happened to Rodney King, you had I think who is it? Gil Hughley and other comedians making jokes about shit like that. Just as though they weren't black people and nothing like that could ever happen to them. See, that is nothing to joke about. You see what I mean? Matter of fact, people who made jokes about what happened to Rodney King and when him saying, can't we all just get along, it wasn't nothing funny about that. And I think what they need to do is experience what happened to Rodney King, and I'm sure they wouldn't be joking then. You see, they would not be joking then. That's nothing funny. You see, for you to even make a joke like that about what happened to that man, you are joking about everything horrific that our ancestors went through. You see what I'm saying? But now is the time to somewhat rectify, all of this horrific, death that was done to these people here and our ancestors. To make sure that we make these low-life animalistic piece of shit. We're wearing these badges. Think twice before they ever brutalize or murder anybody black in this country. You know, after all, they're just, and it's hard for me to even call them people. It really is, because, you know, I mean, when you do all of the foul things that you've done and the crimes that you committed, you know, you're not a person. You're more like a subhuman, you know, a subhuman. Even, you know, low kernel forms of life even have mercy, you know, on their prey or what have you. And these subhumans are not even greater than us. They doing a lot of this stuff based off a system, a governmental system that would allow them to actually do it and get away with it. But if you were to basically defend yourself or do it back, then you could get locked away or get killed anyway. But I'll say this: if you were being locked away and murdered or what have you anyway, so I mean, what's the point? You may as well fight. You may as well fight. You may as well do every damn thing in your God-given right to live to make these motherfuckers understand. No, you ain't gonna do this shit, and if you do, it's gonna cost you your life. It's a possibility it can cost you your life. I don't give a goddamn what kind of badge you wearing. Don't make no difference. This is fucking sick and disgusting. This is what the stock market do. They are actually profiting over, you know, people who've been brutally, unjustly murdered, you know, by the hands of the so-called law. Let's read this article here. Okay. Fox News apologized for creating and airing a graphic highlighting how stocks have risen after the high-profile deaths of black men in the U.S. without full context. The graphic showed that the S&P 500, which tracks the performance of the biggest companies in the U.S., had improved in performance after civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in 1968. It also showed that it did so after police were filmed beating activist Rodney King, were acquitted in 1992, and when the unarmed teenager Michael Brown was shot dead by police in 2014. It is also pointed to gains following the death of George Floyd on May 25th. Floyd was killed after a white Minneapolis police officer kneeled on his neck for nearly 9 minutes while taking him into custody. And, you know, like I'm saying, the coward, you know, kneeled on his neck. The man already had, you know, he was handcuffed. You know, his feet were, I think, even bound, and he had 3 other officers on him as well. We can't keep allowing this shit. You know, that's a coward's move and everything. We can't keep allowing this kind of shit. You know, to continue, a Fox News spokesperson told Business Insider on Saturday that infographic used on Fox News channels, special reports to illustrate market reactions to historic periods of civil unrest should have never aired on television without full context. We apologize for the insensitivity of the image and take this issue seriously. You motherfuckers always offend first, and then once you get people riled up, you want to apologize. That shit is going to stop too. To continue, the graphic shows percentage change 1 week after the event. Historically, there has been a disconnect between what investors focus on and what happens across the rest of the country. The reporter said before, pointing to the gains made after the other black men were killed. Floyd's death has sparked protests across the country, renewing calls to end police brutality and tackle wider racism. The graphic was shown during Fox News news coverage rather than one of its commentary shows. What's this? Rep. Bobby L. Rush, a Democratic in Illinois, has criticized the graphic late on Friday, saying, "This is absolutely outrageous and disgusting. The graphic tells every single at Fox News viewer that black lives can be exchanged for market gain. Casting lots. That's what this reminds me of what they did with the Messiah. For his robe, his clothes, and everything. They cast lots for it. You know what I mean? They got bounty, money, whatever you want to call it, clothing. They gambled. That's what this all boils down to. See? In conclusion, here it says a Fox News spokeswoman earlier pointed Business Insider to coverage of the behavior of the stock market in light of these events and other moments of upheaval in other media publications, including Fortune, Bloomberg, and CNBC. Many of these reports were offered as part of a larger explanation of how the stock market behaves during such events than in the explanation Fox News gave during its broadcast. The improvement in stock performance during a time of major upheaval is not unusual. The Wall Street Journal reported that 4.9% rise in the week leading up to June 5th, which was dominated by intense protests, is typical during times of unrest and uncertainty. All right. Tell you, well, you got T.I. and the rest of them. Let me see, T.I. and Rihanna. For whatever this Black Tuesday, I think it's Black Tuesday. I can't remember exactly which one it was. Basically doing a little boycott shit. But it's going to take more than one day to make these motherfuckers hurt in the pocket. And that's what a lot of them are crying about too. When you see all this looting and burning down of buildings and tearing up, shit and what have you. They are more concerned about all their material gains than they are actually of the life that was taken. I mean, let's face it. They look at George Floyd as just a dead nigga that was murdered by or killed by some pigskin ass low life police officer. All right, because that's basically what he is. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, they want to make George Floyd the criminal, criminalize him. He had a record. What comes to find out, the murderer who took his life, he's got a record too. It's just that he has a badge. Okay, one of the officers, he had a record when they hired him. One of the ones that they decided to turn around and put the charges on. Okay, they don't give a damn about that. You cannot respect a system that does not respect you. And that's just bottom line. And you can't look to lawmakers, you understand, to make legislation like this anti-lynching bill bullshit. You see, I'm gonna tell you, you create your own anti-lynching bill. If you get a murderer in your society, I don't give a damn whether he wears a badge or not. If he's a murderer, and if the judicial system does not do anything about that murder, then it's up to you to do it for yourself. That's basically what it all boils down. And the Bible itself, the word of the Most High himself declares what I'm saying. If you think I'm lying, look into it for yourself about people who commit murder and what's supposed to happen to them. You see? Because that's all this boils down to. I don't give a damn if these motherfuckers are wearing badges. You don't have no business doing this shit. And then they get them and they want to protect them. You know what I mean? Or what have you. Derek Chauvin was supposed to be fired. They drugged their foot about arresting that motherfucker. And if it wasn't for people tearing up shit, they wouldn't have arrested him. Okay? But my point is, he was fired. Do you not know that they had armed police officers guarding his house? Now, if he's fired, what the hell do you care about what happens to his sorry ass? You're supposed to put him in cuffs in the first place. All of them are complicit. All of them are in on it together. And for all you black police officers out there, you ought to be a goddamn shame of yourself. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You see this right here? Do you see this shit right here? They don't give a shit about you either. You complicit in the matter too. You want to know the truth about it? You see it more on a daily basis than people like us, regular civilians, do, because you work around it. That's what it comes down to. You see? But one thing I'm certain of, this shit right here gonna cease. Oh yeah, this shit right here is going to cease. You see, because when you start holding these rogue ass subhuman cops accountable for the crimes that they are committing in the name of the law, when you start making them pay and not looking to the system to do it, I guarantee you will plant the seed in the rest of the motherfucker's head who will be a murderer to somebody unjust murdering somebody. Well, if I do this, it's a good chance that this is going to happen to me. And that's the way it's supposed to be in the first fucking place. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. The Most High declares this. And this is what we should live by. And seeing as how we got away from how he said we were supposed to live, this kind of bullshit right here has befell us as a nation of people. That's just all there is. That's just what it is. That cut and dry. You see, a lowlife, weak, look like he got fucking bone disease or something. Derek Chauvin, you look like you got fucking bone disease or some shit. You know what I mean? Like you got bone marrow problems. George Floyd, one-on-one with you would have chopped your ass into the ground, motherfucker. He would have stomped you to grind you into mush. He would have beat your goddamn ass. Like I said, I'm so tired of you motherfucking cowards. Cowards. And the thing about it, with a fucking coward, just because he's afraid and he do shit sneaky, it doesn't make him any less dangerous. A coward ain't no man. He's not going to come up to you straight up without him knowing that he has the advantage. Or so he thinks. You see. Be it he has a gun and he figured you don't, a badge and he know you don't, fellow officers and he know you ain't got nobody with you. That's a coward. That's a coward. I have the advantage. A lot of gangbangers do the same shit. Same thing. Cowards. But that's what make them dangerous. That's the only thing that make them dangerous. But boy, you catch them by themselves. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. Catch them by themselves. You want to see a motherfucker tremble? You see, it's a total different person than what you saw when they had the advantage. Total different person. These motherfuckers are trembling, stuttering and shit. Don't know what to do, don't know what to say. I know what I'm talking about. Personal experiences. Yeah. Motherfucker kill theyself getting away from you. They will kill themselves. They would harm themselves, fuck themselves up some kind of way. Run out in the fucking middle of the street, get hit by a car running from you. Yeah. But when they're around, they feel like they got the advantage. Oh man, these motherfuckers, they got this thing about them like they're unstoppable. Yeah. That's what that is. But this is my point, and I'm going to say it again. We have to do everything in our power as a nation of people to curb this kind of shit right here. It ain't going to be easy. But sure as we each of us do our parts, we can curb this right here. We can stop this shit. Because what I know about a lot of these kind of people, they're cowardly. They're very fearful by nature. Fearful by nature. A lot of them rather fucking run from you than to stand face to face with you if they look at you and know for a fact and look in your eyes, this ain't nobody to be fucking with. They can feel the danger. But that's what I'm telling you, that's what it comes down to. You have a right to fight for your life. These motherfuckers gambling, man. Fuck that. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this story right here. I'm interested in hearing y'all thoughts, views, and opinions on it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. People, please remember to live your life as though we are being watched, because we are. And the things I'm talking about that's watching, whoa, 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 they are dreadful to look up on. But yet and still, they watch day and night. They are the eyes of the Most High, who runs to and fro throughout this earth. And they dealing. They're gonna deal. But you know, we need the Most High with us, so He can have them assist us in what we have to do. And the only way to do that is to repent and come back under His will. Then we be the battle axe. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.